Montana now officially has 4 presumptively positive cases of coronavirus. According to Governor Bullock's office, those cases are in 2 men in their 50s, one in Lewis and Clark County and one in Silverboe County. A woman in her 50s in Yellowstone County and a Gallatin County man in his 50s. The tests conducted by the Montana Department of Public Health and Human Services Public Health Lab were confirmed this evening. However, they're considered presumptive until confirmed by the federal CDC. Those 4 people will be isolated, and people who came in contact with them will be monitored for 14 days. Health officials are following up to learn details about their exposure risk and travel history. As of tonight, DPHHS has tested 107 people for COVID-19. The state has the capacity to test around 1,000 people. They do anticipate receiving more tests from the CDC if needed. Now, tonight we also received an update from the City County Health Department in Cascade County. They held a joint press conference with Great Falls Public Schools and had this to say about the status of COVID-19 cases in Cascade County.
At this moment, however, there are no confirmed cases in Cascade County. Testing will continue to increase as our testing capabilities increase throughout the state, and we'll update you as we know more. We want to let the public know that currently that testing is still limited.
Falls Public Schools Superintendent Tom Moore says that the district is planning to limit large gatherings as much as possible, at least through the end of March. He said that some events like concerts and athletic events will be postponed in accordance with advice from the state and local healthcare officials.
For the rest of the month of March, right now we are curtailing and hopefully postponing some of those events that are scheduled. Some of them may need to be canceled and not rescheduled. If we can do that, we'll try to. But right now, it's a day-to-day, hour by hour, actually, decision-making process. And so at the advice of our state and local healthcare officials, we're curtailing all large gatherings that are not necessary.
So we'll keep you updated on exactly which events are being postponed as we get some more information. Coming up later in sports, Isaiah will have more on what this all means for athletics in Great Falls. Well, Malmstrom has declared a public health emergency. Officials say this will provide the base the tools necessary to protect airmen and their families and limit the spread of this virus. This comes as President Trump declares a national emergency. He says this will unleash the full power of the federal government. President Trump says $50 billion will be pumped into states, territories, and localities to fight coronavirus. Now, here in Montana, all the tests for COVID-19 are being processed at the state laboratory in Helena. MTN's Jonathan Ambarian talked to the man who oversees the lab about their testing procedures.
When public health leaders and healthcare providers around Montana determine someone needs to be tested for the new coronavirus, they will take a sample through a nasal swab. That sample will then be brought to the Montana Department of Public Health and Human Services in Helena and tested at the State Public Health Laboratory. Leaders say they've seen a growing demand for tests in recent days, and that could continue.
Certainly we're preparing for increased numbers.
Ron Paul, the chief of the Laboratory Services Bureau, says they've received enough testing kits from the CDC to test an additional 1,000 people. The testing procedure identifies whether genetic material from the virus is present in a sample. It's similar to the tests the lab already does on diseases like the flu.
So we already have people who are familiar with the method.
Paul says the lab typically processes samples Monday through Friday, and they're also planning to work on Saturdays to keep up with the coronavirus demand.
It would rise to the top of important things that we do, so if there are things that are less important, we have the capability to move testing resources around in the laboratory to make sure we address the things of greatest concern.
Behind these doors are where all samples from around the state will be taken to be tested. Now, the department isn't letting anyone inside right now because of safety and other concerns, but they tell us that currently they can process several dozen coronavirus samples in a day.
It's our role in public health to help and do our part in protecting the citizens of Montana.
In Helena, Jonathan Ambarian, MTN News.
Well, for all you art lovers, more events postponed for this year's Western Art Week. We're learning the Out West Art Show, the Western Heritage Art Show at the Holiday Inn, the Jay Cotway Show, The Great Western Living and Design Show and the Wild Bunch Art Show have all been postponed. This comes following the C.M. Russell Museum's decision to postpone all of its Western Art Week events. We're told these will be rescheduled at a later date. As of now, the remaining shows are still going on as planned. We'll, of course, keep you updated if things change. The St. Patrick's Day Parade that was scheduled for March 17th joins a long list of events that have officially been canceled or postponed this week. The Ancient Order of Hibernians released a statement saying that while they're disappointed, they understand they need to protect the community from potential health risks at this time. The AOH will refund all parade entry fees that were submitted and will still be selling raffle tickets to raise money for their trip to Ireland. They will still be celebrating Irish heritage with 2 events next week in Great Falls at the Raise a Pint Night at the Mighty Mo Brewing Company on Central Avenue on Monday and a celebration of Irish heritage at the Celtic Cowboy in Great Falls on Tuesday.
So we haven't completely shut things down at this point, but we are just being cautious at this point. So yeah, I think some Irish celebration is in need still for St. Patrick's Day, just not on the scale that we had it at.
Butte's St. Patrick's Day Parade has also been canceled. Organizers there confirmed that today. As a precaution, Uptown business owners say they feel the impact of this. Butte's first St. Patrick's Day Parade was held back in 1882. In 1918, it was canceled due to the Spanish flu pandemic.